Lots of news this week on the CM Punk Elite All Out, Brawl Out, Fallout, including news that CM Punk's ugly ass emotional support dog Larry was injured in the scuffle, in the kerfuffle. The story was dropped by Nick Hausman this week, as a matter of fact. The same Nick Hausman that was the target of CM Punk's planned attack at the All Out media scrum. Apparently, CM Punk's camp reached out to Nick Hausman and let him know that Punk's dog Larry, that ugly fucking, looks like it just came out of the sewer and was all fucking wet and been nappy and laying in the rain gutter for fucking 4 years or something. His ugly ass dog, apparently now, just all of a sudden out of nowhere, we're just hearing this now, was sitting in front of the door when the Young Bucks kicked in the door. They kicked it in. Remember how they kicked it in? And then they, apparently the dog got kicked in the face in the process. The door hit him in the face, loosened a couple of his teeth. And then when Punk was at a veterinary meeting after the show, completely unrelated, he had discovered that his dog had 2 loose teeth and had to lose them because the door hit him in the fucking face. People are skeptical about this, according to Dave Meltzer. Other people are saying that it's a complete lie, a completely fabricated bullshit story from the CM Punk camp to put sympathy, to babyface them up a little bit, because this whole investigation thing has reportedly come to an end. There was a vignette already showing that the Elite are returning imminently. So they're going to be coming back. Apparently, they were already backstage at AEW. They were already working. They just were not on camera yet. So apparently, all the investigation stuff is done. I don't know if this was information that was provided early on to the investigation and it just never reached the public. But you got to think part of the story being Larry, the ugly ass fucking emotional support dog, was kicked in the face and lost a couple teeth. Might have been a big part of that story, was it not? Would it have not helped CM Punk's case? Because he is... also, according to Meltzer, was referred to by at least one person as being a complete psycho backstage and wasn't even concerned about the dog. But had the dog been kicked in the face, had that happened by the door, kicked in the door, kicked, and then you know what I'm saying? Don't play semantics with me, you cunt. But you think that would have helped CM Punk's case? There's a lot of animal lovers out there. There's a lot of people who would agree that if you kicked a door in and it hit your dog in the face, if I kick in your door and it hits your dog in the face, you're going to punch me. You're going to punch me in the face. You're not going to ask questions or be polite at that point. Your dog just got hit in the fucking face, probably yelped if it was hard enough to lose teeth. It had to have sold the kick, right? You just think that would have come out by now. Now, I'm not saying that it's false inherently just because it took all the way up till now to actually come out. But what I am saying is that I think it would lend more to its credibility had it been something that came out earlier on where we all could have heard that, had that information right off the bat. That would have colored this situation a little bit differently. Is Punk just outright making stories up to babyface himself at this point? Is that what this is? Take all of this with a grain of salt too, by the way, because Nick Hausman is a little bit more on the Punk side of the camp. I'm not saying he's leaning that way as far as where he believes in his personal feelings about the situation. What I'm saying is he's more connected to Punk's side of the camp. He even said that Punk had texted him after the media scrum to kind of not necessarily apologize, but just kind of clear things up and that sort of thing. Let each other know that they're kind of square, all's good in the hood. But we're fine. Don't worry about it. No heat here, brother. and this was leaked to Hausman from people within Punk's camp, if not Punk himself directly, because Hausman has said on record that Punk did text him after the media scrum. So obviously, Punk has that ability to do so. But Hausman also said that he's not as close with the Elite, but you know who is? Dave Meltzer. So you got Nick Hausman saying, hey, this is what Punk's camp is saying. And then you got Meltzer saying, oh, no, that's complete bullshit, according to people. But consider the source. And I'm not saying Meltzer's lying, and I'm not saying Hausman's lying. I'm not saying anything's fishy here. I'm just saying take it all with a grain of salt. Consider the sources. Apparently, this whole thing is wrapped up now, and the Elite is coming back to AEW, and Punk is not, as far as we're aware. Now, he would be out injured anyway. He would have been out 6, 8, 10 months with his injury, regardless of any suspension. So he's not coming back anytime soon, even if he is coming back. But certainly you can read into this a little bit, can you not? You can read into the fact that the Elite are coming back, and there's still really no mention of CM Punk at all. He's persona non grata. Now, the other twist to this whole story with all these updates is that apparently the locker room has basically all come together and majority ruled that they don't want CM Punk back. They don't want him in their locker room, and they don't want to work around him. There was a report coming out. I don't know who dropped this information. This may have been Meltzer too, that Chris Jericho apparently confronted CM Punk the night of the Brawl Out Fallout. And Punk basically, Jericho was like, hey, man, blah, 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 blah. And, Punk was basically like, hey, man, go fuck yourself. None of your business. You know what I mean? And that was the gist of it. And then apparently Jericho called Punk a cancer to the locker room. I don't know that he would have said that to his face. Not to say he wouldn't have the balls to do it. Jericho's a confrontational guy. I absolutely think he would confront CM Punk. But, this is all hearsay at this point. But Jericho is amongst the people in the backstage locker room saying that he has no interest in ever working with or around CM Punk again. And if the vote was up to him, he would cast out CM Punk, that he is a cancer to the AEW locker room. A lot of other people are echoing that sentiment too. I gotta tell you, just on a personal note, this breaks my goddamn heart. I was the biggest CM Punk fan, like a giant Marky Mark. He literally broke my heart, man. It's sad as a fan to like that kind of fandom. It's like, how they always say don't meet your heroes or whatever, Punk was one of my heroes, and this is kind of the equivalent of me going up to Punk and saying, hey, Punk, you're my hero. And he turns around and says, hey, fuck off, bitch. Fuck off, you tubby fucker, you punkin' shirted prick. You know what I'm saying? Like, it hurts. So this whole thing is really sad that it had to come to this. Does not appear that Punk is going to return to AEW. There's the rumors that, I talked about. I did drop a clip last week. I didn't do a full show, but I dropped a clip last week of CM Punk. That Punk is not likely to return, that they're negotiating the buyout of his contract and such. And the non-compete clause is what's holding things up. Like, anybody else wants CM Punk, right? I know a lot of people were making, that was a big to-do either last week or early this week too, is that, Triple H, people close to Triple H say he's always willing to do what's right for business. That was a complete non-news story. I don't know why this was ran with by so many different people. And it's like, hey, somebody said, hey, Triple H is the kind of guy that might hear out Punk and might be open to a return. Suddenly this is news. CM Punk to WWE confirmed. It's like, chill the fuck out, bro. Chill the fuck out. Punk and Triple H never really got along either. Punk has not been shy about his personal disdain for Triple H, and Triple H not a huge fan of Punk either. And even if we do what's good for business and blah 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 blah, right? Like, sure, it would be. I don't even know that it would be good business for WWE to bring Punk in at this point. I think Punk is, unless he's able to come in, make amends with his entire locker room, play a heel on TV, and earn a long track record of just being a decent human being, I don't know that he's ever going to have a place in wrestling anywhere ever again. I just don't see anybody wanting him around, and I don't even see it being a big money. Now, you say that now, but like obviously if WWE were to come out and be like, yeah, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk for the title, and they did the, I didn't even want, the only reason you're on the roster is because because of me, because Punk started the Shield basically, and he did not pick Roman Reigns. He had picked Chris Hero for that third spot, and he picked Rollins, he picked Mox, and he picked Chris Hero for the Shield. When they were talking over the creative plans of, hey, we need this faction of like hired guns to come in and help Punk retain the title against fucking, what was it? He was working with Ryback at the time, who Ryback should have won the title at that point, even though Punk was on a historic run. Ryback, I think that killed his career, other than him being a complete douchebag. But I digress. We're not talking about that. So I just don't see that WWE is going to want to have any interest in CM Punk, but I could be completely wrong because there's money to be made off of him versus Roman feud. Absolutely. But after that, like what, Sam Roberts had said that what he would do, and this is actually kind of smart, instead of just signing him to the roster, sign him for like a 3-match deal with like a couple appearances around each match and then go from there, see how that works out. And that's actually not a horrible, you can bring him in to work with Roman, bring him in to work with Cody would be another one. And probably even Seth, he could get a feud out of with Seth or Kevin Owens or something like that. And then, see where you're at after that. There's money to be made there. I just don't know how receptive the fans would be. And honestly, I don't know how thrilled Triple H would be to work with Punk or how thrilled Punk would be to work with Triple H. There was interest. Punk was open to the idea of going back around the time that Fox was really pushing to get him signed, and that's when he appeared on that show with Renee and Paige and shit. But even then, Vince at the time was said to have not wanted to work with Punk. He refused Punk, but that was Vince. And also Punk being open to return to WWE, that was under Vince. Maybe he felt like he could work with Vince. Triple H is a different animal because Punk's also the kind of guy that he's going to see Triple H as a peer. You know what I mean? And Punk's got a big enough ego. Like, I think Jericho is in that kind of that same boat. Like, that's another reason why he's probably not going to go back to WWE anytime soon. He'll get that Hall of Fame run, right? But he's not going to, I can't imagine he's excited to go work for Triple H, at least not for a full-time. You know what I mean? So as long as he wants to be full-time active, I think he's going to be on the AEW roster. So guys that see Triple H as a peer and not a boss, as a leader, aren't going to respect him in the same way. They didn't come up under the NXT Papa H camp, like basically everybody on the roster now. They came up working with Triple H as a peer, like on the same roster. And I just don't know that they're going to want to necessarily do what Triple H tells them to do or get along very well. So all of this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. What do you think? Do you think Punk is going to come back to AEW? Do you think he's going to go to WWE or maybe even end up in New Japan for a quick run? What is the fate of CM Punk? Does he just ride off into the sunset, do movies again, and just go suck a fox somewhere and just be off of wrestling forever? Who knows? Again, it's incredibly sad if this is the end of CM Punk's career. I'm not going to lie about that. I want him to redeem himself. I want him to come back from this. I want to see the comeback story, and I want to see people I want to see, like with Shawn Michaels, everybody's like, yeah, he was a giant prick before, but you know what? Not so bad now. But I think, for all his time away from WWE, and he came back and he was just as big of a prick as ever, I don't know that he'll ever change, and that's sad.
Oh yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah, and you can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Ooh yeah. Dig it.